whenever you collaborate with someone as a writer or as a producer, you never know for sure whether it's going to work. But at least you know, if you believe in that collaboration, that everybody's on the same page. You want to go the same direction. Mm-hmm. So when someone else comes from outside and says, oh, you should work with this producer or this writer, you are flipping the coin of whether that's going to work or not. And you just don't know until everybody walks into the room and says, let's do it.
I don't feel myself today. Just a figure in a big monopoly game. Struggle is the price you pay. You get just enough just to give it away. I'm sinking but I'm floating away. Throw me a light so I can anchor my pain. The fabric is about to fray. The fabric is about to fray.
He's like, I didn't want to throw this all at you at once, but I figured I might as well just, if you have the time, I'll just throw it all at you, what I'm thinking.
He spent 20 minutes basically telling us that we couldn't write a song, and that John Shanks and Glenn Ballard thought so too.
Well,
and that we didn't have an album's worth of material, and that Dancing in the Wind was not even a contender in the record, that Hey was weak, and that Underneath was weak too.
The way he brought it up was so like cut you off at the knees.
I mean, let's listen to his opinions. I mean, and let's analyze his opinions and see.
He doesn't have an opinion.
He said he felt like the Underneath was a little slow. He said there were parts of it that he really, really liked. He said that Hey was good and it was groovy and he liked the groove a lot.
Jeff's opinion changed when Glenn Ballard told him we have no songs. Because before he said, I think we have 7 songs that should definitely be considered for the album or something like 3 months ago. And then he completely changes his mind.
All that matters right now is to alleviate whatever is wrong. We need to neutralize it in a way to get it to.
Well, is that the goal, or is the goal to take this opportunity and produce the record yourselves?
If we produce the records ourselves, it will be buried.
I think he doesn't want to get into a bickering situation. I think he feels like, okay, we gave him Greg Wells, we gave him 4 tracks with Greg Wells, why won't they just go do 2 tracks with my guy now? And I think he just feels like, you know what, I don't want to battle, this battle doesn't need to happen. If that's what they want.
Because I think it's really interesting the way all 3 of you immediately were like, no, we don't want to produce ourselves because we'll never get it out like that.
Because now we know that. Now we know that.
But I think you knew that also all along, but I know many, many times conversations have drifted to, gosh,
in the beginning,
we can only produce it ourselves. Yeah,
right. In the beginning, but now, after we were told by Jeff, there's no way I will ever give way to a record that Hanson produces. It's pretty much okay.
What he said was, they'll either prove me wrong, or they'll prove me right. And you know that Jeff will do everything in his power to make sure he's proved right.
It's such a bummer that we get made the bad guys because we want to have a say in our music. The question is now, what's our plan? What are we doing? Are we finding a way to get around Jeff? Are we
I don't think there is a way. I think the options are to get around Jeff, or to go do it yourselves. Which is he gave the option. He's perfectly.
Start one option even more than that, to be dropped. Dropped. You guys could, he said to us, is this a subversive way for these guys to want to be dropped from this label? Do they not like it here? I'm trying to figure out why there seems to be such this underlying friction between me and them. What is it? Do they want to be dropped?
If you're dropped, I bet you they just do everything they can to put like the biggest negative spin on possible, and that everybody else will be like, huh.
Yeah. No. Those aren't even options. I just wanted you to hear you guys voice that. Those aren't even options. I mean, everybody agrees with that, right? Those aren't.
Yeah, and then produce it yourselves. Just I'll say, if you came up with the perfect Grammy Award-winning record, they would do everything in their power to make sure it never saw the light of day.
But to me, I think the key is to help Jeff forget that conversation. Is to just alleviate it, just eliminate it, and just get past it so that we're not pissing people off. Because, look, this is what we know. He doesn't get what we get. All we have to do is, like we thought before, we have to find some way to get him to think this is good and he's excited about this. Whatever it is that makes him think, oh, I'm excited.
If something's going to compel Leo to open that checkbook and write the $750,000 worth of checks he's going to have to write to get your record on radio.
I think, look, I know right now the move is, this is like a Britney Spears moment. We need to go and we need to work with John Shanks. It's it.
Welcome to Breakdown. For the first time, it's a great time. For your worst time, when you freak out, there's no sign. Welcome to Breakdown, Breakdown.
It definitely needs a something.
Well, just do a shake. Well, let's let him try it.
But not that he should be playing 16ths, but
Yeah.
otherwise it's gonna get a little sloshy.
Well, first
That's
the
my
eights are
fear.
going to come from.
Yeah, but it's having, okay, it's starting to sound a little, just in that pass, or even on the demo to me, it sounded a little, it's not even that, it's just it has a quarter note feel, which is not as exciting.
It's like.
Especially because it's the hook, it's the whole,
So I'm just thinking if you start with the hi-hat, then you'll all have to keep the hi-hat in all of a sudden.
Right, which might be good.
Well, I mean, you can try it. It's different than, classically you'd think that made sense.
Just let me help you.
You have a vision, and I want you to feel like you got your vision, and then it's like, or we can combine the two, because,
Let's combine the two.
okay, good.
I disagree.
Really?
Yes.
You just like
I
the
think
boom
it's signature. I think it's like really cool. I think it's like nobody does that. Nobody starts with that kind of a beat and no hi-hat, and like that's just totally unique. It's like a selling point. Like you start with that bass and this drum beat with no hi-hats, like bop, bop,
No,
bop,
I agree with that.
bop, bop. It's like, wow, that's cool.
Dancing in the Dark, Bruce Springsteen. Nobody's ever, there's another example. If you're going on that theory,
Yeah.
that's how
Well,
that starts.
I'm
Born
like
in the
going
USA.
for-
That's how that starts too. So, which is cool.
Yeah.
I get the point.
We had finished a couple songs with John Shanks, but if we had spent much more time with him, I think someone would have ended up in a fist fight. So, in an effort to keep things moving, we decided to try working with Glenn Ballard.